Hi, so I'm Nick Corney and I'm playing Macbeth.
And I'm Rose Lancaster and I'm playing Lady Macbeth.
And this particular production is a version that's set in a kind of a near future, a bit of a dystopian sort of a world that's where everything's fallen into chaos. There might have been some great pandemic or something that struck the world, and out of this chaos a war emerges, a kind of a atmosphere where people are competing for power and supremacy. And of course we're set in Scotland, and my character discovers an idea from the witches that sets him off on a journey that's where he makes choices which are largely wrong ones, really, that set him on a tragedy. But the interesting thing about the play is that he's sharing his choices all the time with the audience through the soliloquies and everything. So hopefully the audience go with him on that journey, as go with me on that journey into the dark places.
He gets sent down a path by his wife from which there is no return.
Yeah.
The beauty, I think, about Shakespeare and the reason it has survived as long as it has is because the language may be unfamiliar to us in this day and age, but the themes are universal. Tragedy is something that people love watching. We love watching people go through these hideous things because we don't have to. We can share the emotional experience without actually going through it ourselves.
Yeah, and there have been so many versions of Macbeth done over the years, and the decision made by the director, Dorothy Nelson, in this one was to bring a new kind of a twist and flavour to it. So it's been done in all kinds of ways. I've seen it done in Japanese at the Plymouth Theatre Royal, where it had a completely different feel to what we're giving it. And because, as Rose says, the themes are universal, you can do that. You can put your own kind of interpretation on it, and hopefully we'll make it fresh for the audience. That's the aim.
Each production is unique, but I think with ours there are a couple of things that stand out: the female Banquo and the female Duncan.
Oh yeah.
There is something about, I'm not sure why, but when it's a woman killing a woman, and it's not something I've necessarily seen much with regards to Macbeth, but I think that certainly adds a different element to it. It's allowed us to develop a relationship between Lady M and Banquo, which I think ups the tragedy somewhat. And also I think the age difference between you and I is something I've not seen before in a production of Macbeth.
Are we different in age?
Slightly. I mean, only ever so slightly.
Yeah,
but again, I think that creates a different dynamic, and it allows us to do something different, as opposed to Lady M being, it's not malicious. Well, it is malicious because she's pretty nasty, but it comes from a different place. It's not outright evil, which I've seen in some. It's Lady M is pure evil and just wants everybody to die. Whereas in this one, she wants something. She gets her husband to do it, but once she passes it to Macbeth, she utterly loses control. And I don't think in this production she expects it.
Yeah, that shift of control between the two of us is one of the most interesting things that we've discovered, because in rehearsal you discover so much. The text is full of new things to discover. It doesn't stop.
Getting back on stage after 18 months, terrifying.
Yeah, we were really, really close. We were only a week, Luke, away from actually bringing the show to the audiences. All the tickets were, most of them were sold, and we were ready. And then suddenly locked down, and we had to go away and just live with everything kind of held. Try not to forget all the words and everything, and bring that all back again. But this time we know that it's for real, and I think we're all very excited about it.
When you work with a cast with the talent that we have, I don't think I can really pin it down to one. As Nick just said, the rehearsal period, the wonderful way that Dorothy works is she lets you play. Although she can be something of a dictator when it comes to the final call, she allows you to explore your character on stage. And she also encourages the company effort. So it's very rare that you are playing to an empty auditorium. There is always other actors, stage crew, techies that are always part of the process, which gives you some element of an audience. Standout moments. I think the first rehearsal we came back after the 18-month break, after all the lockdowns. A beautiful moment for me was 30 of us for the first time in 18 months, sat in a room, and the buzz. The feeling came back almost instantaneously. That feeling of being part of a company and being close to people, that was a standout moment. It's like, we're here, we're back, and it's going to happen.
Yeah, particularly when we've all been off living our little lockdown lives and everything. For me, I think that it's the discoveries that we've made in rehearsal, things that I had no idea. I've been in this show before. I once played Malcolm a long time ago, and to find totally new things, particularly in the dynamics between us two, that power shift we were talking about, and the kind of malevolence that creeps into Macbeth, which is not to say that he becomes entirely so. He does say, for mine own good, all causes shall give way. But actually, he still retains an element of the tragic hero about him, and he still has goodness in him right to the very end. And it's just the bad choices that he makes throughout, which we all make bad choices. So I think hopefully the audience will identify with that. But discovering those dynamics, the shifts in that power balance has been fascinating. It's a bit of a ridiculous question, but tragedy is the obvious one, because it is tragic to see somebody, a great hero and a general being brought down to being an absolute villain. But also, the witchcraft is incredibly powerful. I can't think of another play where, well, there are others, sorry, but with the witchcraft, the power of that, and the equivocation, that's a lovely word that was very much in Shakespeare's mind when he wrote the play, because at the time, research tells us that at the time equivocation was very much seen as a kind of evil in society, where people say one thing and they mean another. Of course, the witches do that all the time, and that's what, if you like, tricks in some way. It tricks Macbeth into making these bad decisions. So equivocation would be a good word.
I've got one.
Oh, go on.
Exhilarating.
Yeah.
Come buy your tickets.
Come and see it, folks. Yeah, it's great. If you've seen it before, come and see a new version that will bring, more. It was once said that a good play, said by a director that I overheard in a conversation, that a good play helps you to kind of grow up a little, to find out new things that is part of your development as a person. And I think you do that when you see this. There are laughs in it, not a lot, but there are laughs. But most of all, it's just a real insight into the human condition. And if you can't get something from that, we haven't done our job. And I hope you will.
The one thing that I remember our director telling me one of the first times I met her was about amateur theatre, because that's what we do. But there is only one big difference between amateur theatre and professional theatre, and that's that we don't get paid for it. The love is there, the passion is there, the hard work is there, and I can tell you this, that the 30, 40 people who have been involved in this production have worked their socks off, and it will show. You will not be let down by this. We've got a great team behind us, and it wouldn't be the same show without any single one of them, including the ones we lost, because we did lose a couple.
Yeah.
Over the lockdown. We've had some incredible people step in to fill their shoes, but they were part of the original process, and we'll get out there for those 4 nights. We will knock your socks off in honour of every single one that was involved in this, and in honour of every single individual that felt it over the last 18 months.
Well said.